Technically, this is the first SmackDown that counts as like episode number 1. Because the real episode number 1 doesn't count. That was the debut and everybody was excited. And then we had the draft. It was like, oh, how good's the draft going to be? And then it was really boring and RoboCop was in the corner going, drop it. So now, episode 3 is the one that we should put all our stock in, and we were all excited. What kind of stories are we going to get? What kind of angles are going to rise up from the ground? And who is going to be considered a brand new star that's about to rise to the top? And kind of none of that really happened. Although there were some good bits and there were some bad bits, or there were some ups and there were some downs. And that's why my name is Simon Miller. Welcome to WhatCulture Wrestling. Hello to this, the finger of power. It's not, it's just my finger attached to my hand. Let's up those downs on a Saturday, unless you're watching this on Sunday. First thing that got me this week on SmackDown is when Roman Reigns was coming to the ring and straight away Michael Cole went, he's Roman Reigns, he's known as the big dog. And I was like, is he known as the big dog WWE? Because when I'm having a conversation with my wrestling fans, no one ever says, hey Simon, did you see Daniel Bryan versus the big dog? We all call him Roman Reigns. It's kind of only you that calls him the big dog. Just wanted to throw it out there. Anyway, it was Roman versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. And look, that is 2 good wrestling tamales right there. Give it up. Michael Cole then moved all of this back into a down position when Roman Reigns powered out of an armbar, and Michael Cole had to say, that's what we call big dog strong. That was one too many, Mr. Cole. I respect you, and I know you've done a pretty damn good job for like 2 decades, but big dog strong isn't even grammatically correct. Down. Outside of this though, yeah, I think Roman is much better than a lot of people give him credit for, and most of us remember that Shinsuke Nakamura, at least at one point, was one of the best wrestlers in the planet. Of course, Sami Zayn, who is now officially Nakamura's business partner, whatever the hell that means, I guess they like sign deals and go to meetings together, was getting involved, including at one point, like moving Shinsuke out the way of the drive-by, like a mum who saw their child wandering in the road. Was a little upset by the finish though. Must be tired today. Down. I kind of knew that nobody would win properly here, and there were going to be some kind of shenanigans, and I put that on Sami Zayn. Like, eventually he'll get involved, and whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But we didn't do that, and instead Baron Corbin popped up from the abyss, and he smacked Roman Reigns on the head with his scepter, and that caused the DQ. But here's the thing. I don't mind WWE doing this kind of thing. I really don't. But if you are going to have Baron smack him on the head with his makeshift toy, why can't the referee not see it? And then Shinsuke Nakamura at least gets the pin over Roman Reigns. And we have some kind of, I mean, not like a solid finish, but a finish. Instead, here we had another disqualification. And I just feel like over the last few weeks, and maybe even the last few months, the DQ thing has been done way too much in WWE. I just want an ending sometimes. Even if it's an ending, I can point it out and go, that is poppycock. That man is an asshole. Of course, here, referring to Baron Corbin, I understand what I've done. I broke my rule. We're still getting this new ground. Of course, he's not Baron Corbin. Let's take that, throw it over there. He is tally baldy. Anyway, Daniel Bryan eventually came out to make the save and chase away the bad guys, even though eventually the bad guys got the one up on Daniel Bryan because it was 3 versus 2. And I guess that's going to be a feud for a while, especially because it was announced that our main event would be Daniel Bryan teaming with Roman Reigns to take on Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I love Daniel Bryan with all my heart, with all my soul. I think he's a wonderful person and I want to be his friend, but I still don't understand why he magically turned face and why he doesn't care about the environment anymore. Zoom to the back where New Day were just having a little sing-song, and I know, why doesn't Kofi Kingston care that much that he lost his World Championship? I mean, it's referenced in passing, but ultimately, we are moving right by it. Then Heavy Machinery turned up, and I can only imagine if you read this segment on paper, you would be like, that sounds like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But because it was Otis doing it, somehow he made it incredible. Because he was making protein pancakes, he then offered the batter around, nobody wanted to drink it, so he basically just poured it all over himself while going, get to my baby, or whatever the hell that weird noise he makes is. I've said it before, I'm saying it again, that man is hilarious. Give him every single championship you have. We also tried to get an interview out of Tawley Baldy, but he wasn't interested, so he put on his crown and he just skulked away. And it may have taken WWE a few months after the rumors broke, But man, they've actually gone and done it, because Shorty Gable is now no longer called Shorty Gable, because before his match he got on a microphone and he shortened his own name, and he is now officially Shorty G. Shorty G, he sounds like a flipping biscuit. Down. Oddly though, it seems like in order for him to get the push that we all wanted him to have, he had to do this, because here he was facing Curtis Axel, and he just whooped his ass up. All of this is kind of like being punched in the face while having a back massage, because you can't really work out if you like it or not. But yeah, honestly, Shorty G, whatever the hell we're going to call him, you know what, I'm not going to call him that, Chad Gable, got into the ring and showcased his very impressive wrestling skills, and Curtis Axel didn't have anything of him, and eventually he was tapping out to the ankle lock. So this just gave me all kinds of emotions, because there is no legs in being called Shorty G. Oh, I did it. Now I'm doing it by accident. Look what you've done, WWE. You've created a terrible wave of awfulness here. Please just backtrack. Nobody cares that he's short, especially because there are shorter people in the company. We then learn that Seth Rollins is officially no longer the captain of Team Hogan, which of course meant we had to get the Hulkster on Skype. That traditional chain of events. Down. The issue here is that I don't know if Michael Cole, Corey Graves and Hulk Hogan can actually hear each other properly, because Cole and Graves would ask a question like, "Hey Hulkster, who are you going to have on your team now?" And he would reply, "Oh, I'm doing great, brother. Thanks for asking." You're like, what the hell? That's not an appropriate response to that question. It's the most disjointed thing ever, and please, can we just not do any more Skype chats on either Raw or SmackDown? Anyway, eventually we found out that Ali and Shorty G, Chad Gable, are going to be on Team Hogan, and there's also going to be another massive reveal later on, which at this point I was like, maybe we're going to learn that Hulk Hogan had given up on Skype, and he's going to use Google Hangouts instead. It was a solid tag team match then, as the New Day teamed up with Heavy Machinery to take on the Revival and Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Like I say, it just ticked boxes like they were going out of fashion. Not much to report here, if I'm completely honest. Otis was having the time of his life. The fans love him. Kofi Kingston was on the outside and, you know, still being happy, whoop-de-doo, hoo-ha, because who cares if you've lost the World Championship? And it ended when Big E and Xavier Woods hit the midnight hour onto Dawson, and they got the 1, 2, 3, and I presume we're going to do another New Day Revival tag team match. But to be honest, I had actually forgotten that the Revival were the SmackDown champions. Genuinely had escaped my brain. And who just doesn't want to be Daniel Bryan's best bud as well? I mean, we've already gone over this, but we will go over it again, because he was doing an interview backstage and he was saying he doesn't care about Twitter beef or draft beef, because that was Sami Zayn's whole problem with all of this. He's been like, "Hey, I should have been drafted before Roman Reigns, the big dog." Now Daniel Bryan is going to put the two kings in their place, because of course we have King Corbin, also known as Tawley Baldy, but also Shinsuke Nakamura is the King of Strong Style. There's a good line. Miss TV was then alright. Rarity. Up. It was here to underline why Bayley did decide to turn heel, and while it was kind of standard WWE fodder, the fact that we took our time with this and allowed her to evolve over the last few weeks meant it worked better than most. Also, she has a new look and she has new music, and all of that has come together to make Bayley feel very fresh. She basically feels like the fans turned on her, and that when she did lose the Women's Championship a few weeks ago and she went backstage, nobody was there for her, of course, except for Sasha Banks. The only problem I have with that is, what, Bayley, you expect to go backstage at a WWE event and see a load of fans there? You wouldn't like that, and I tell you who wouldn't like that, Vince McMahon. He would go crazy. Anyway, Bayley finished us all off by saying, "Life sucks and then you die." All right, Bales, calm down, way to lower the tone. Nikki Cross eventually stormed out because wrestlers can't help themselves, and she was really mad at Bayley. Then Dana Brooke was there, and essentially we were just transitioning into our six-pack challenge match, which was going to determine the brand new contender for Bayley's title. It meant we had Cross, Brooke, Lacey Evans, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville and Carmella going after this, and it was fine. That probably makes it sound a little bit more mundane than I mean it to, but it just was. They all tried really hard, they put in the effort, there were some cool spots, and eventually Nikki Cross won after she slammed Mandy Rose with a neck breaker. She then stared the hugger down. That's what you're gonna get. Nikki Cross versus Bayley. But before you get mad about this, look at Nikki Cross. She is actually a successful NXT call-up, and that rarely happens, so we should throw a damn party. Up. What was next was dumb though, wasn't it? Drew Gulak finally gets called up for SmackDown, and WWE's big idea for him is to put him in the ring with Braun Strowman and just have Braun Strowman squash him like a tomato. SmackDown. This was such a shame as well because Gulak showed a lot of creativity here when he did one of his PowerPoint presentations showing Braun Strowman that if he just walks around being all like, rah, rah, hands, get my hands, he's probably going to get knocked out by Tyson Fury. Obviously that pissed Braun off and he just chucked Drew Gulak around until he power slammed him and pinned him like he was absolutely nothing. But like, why even do anything with Drew Gulak if the end result is you get your ass absolutely smashed? He ain't gonna do anything now. He's not all of a sudden gonna be on a big run. And if he is, it is just gonna be doing PowerPoint presentations, which will be very entertaining, by the way. I like them, but then a big guy coming out and whooping him again simply because he's not as big as them. See what's happened with Shorty G? It's created a panic. Main event time now, and it was Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns teaming up to take on Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. And before we did kick off, we got the big reveal, the big announcement, and that was that Roman Reigns is going to be the captain of Team Hogan. Makes sense, and it made sense when Daniel Bryan running kneed Shinsuke in the face and got the win. All of this kind of went as it did earlier too. Zayn got involved, that turned the tide, but eventually Roman Reigns was back on top and he also speared Tawley Baldy through the barricade, and that spot never gets old. We then got the finish with Bryan before SmackDown went off air, and yeah, like I hinted at the start of this video, it was just a bit like, okay, why exactly should I tune in to next week? Because I had a pretty decent tag team match to finish off the episode, but other than that, it was kind of empty, like wandering through a forest looking for an apple, but you don't find an apple, you just find a lot of wood. Because that's a tree. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, and SmackDown is on FS1 next week, so maybe in, WWE's crazy brain, they were like, well, we can just sort of calm down for this one, because you are going to get a lesser audience next week just by proxy. I just thought we could have done something bigger here to remind us all that SmackDown is new and on a brand new network, and we didn't do it. But it certainly wasn't a bad show. It was just kind of a nothing show. Seems too harsh because it was enjoyable to a certain degree. Just odd. I thought this was the time to do something, and then maybe you get more people tuning into FS1. I don't know, but we won't be too harsh. There's my spinning arrow. We'll give it an up, but it's an up with like an asterisk next to it. And if you find the asterisk with the text, it was like, what are we doing? Why are we not trying to have fun? Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. Like, share, and subscribe. Head on to WhatCulture.com and read yourselves some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you for joining me. And isn't it still weird that we do this on a Saturday? Yes, it is. Have good weekends if you are watching it day one. I'll see you soon.